And we begin 13 News at 4 on this Friday afternoon, watching and waiting for a verdict in the Delphi murders case. Right now, jurors are deliberating the fate of Richard Allen. He's facing 4 different charges.
The trial has been going on for weeks, but now we wait. Richard Allen is charged in the deaths of Libby Williams and Abby German. Libby German and Abby Williams, rather, and the teens' bodies were found in February of 2017 near the Monon High Bridge in Delphi. Senior investigative reporter Bob Segall and 13 News reporter Emily Longnecker are live outside the Carroll County Courthouse.
And they've been there since day one. What is the status of this jury right now?
We can tell you that we will not have a verdict coming down today. Emily and I have been out here waiting all day with a whole lot of other folks as well, but just about 7-8 minutes ago, the jury left the Carroll County Courthouse here behind us on the far corner, and they left the courthouse after about 7 hours of deliberations. They got here a little bit before 9. They left a little bit before 4. So 7 hours today, 2 hours yesterday, about 9 hours of deliberations so far to really weigh through a lot of evidence, a lot of testimony. This jury has heard from 64 separate witnesses. We had 387 exhibits, over 17 days of testimony. It's not shocking that here, after just essentially a full day of deliberations, that we do not have a verdict yet. But we're not allowed inside. The jury is inside the courthouse, up on the 3rd floor when they are inside in the jury room deliberating. The media, the public, all of us kept outside, so clearly we're not a part of those deliberations, Emily, but while they're inside, there's a lot going on out here.
I mean, there's a lot going on out here, Bob. I would say, about 60 to 70 people we've counted throughout the day, some media folks, some folks from the town of Delphi, some folks from all across the United States that have actually come here to watch this trial, to possibly be here when a jury hands down a decision. You know, from the very beginning, since this happened almost 8 years ago, people in this town would say today is the day. The families of Abby and Libby would say today is the day. And at that time, they meant today is the day that we're going to have an arrest in this case, a break in this case. And today, people were here hoping, is today the day that we're going to find out a decision that this jury has. And of course, we found out it is not the day. Not today. But let's take a look at some video just to show you kind of what's going on around the town of Delphi. These are signs in the businesses around the courthouse showing support for Abby and Libby and their families. And, you know, people have also made dozens of signs outside the courthouse. Some of those signs actually have been in support of Richard Allen, too. We've also seen that. Other signs have been critical of the investigation and police, some even critical of Judge Gall. The jury, again, had been in there all day, and if we can, when we come back out here live to show you, usually the jury, as Bob had said, and they came out today, they came out of that southwest corner and they head out this way towards the northwest corner, but today the vans were turned around so that they would be heading out of town a different way, so that they would not come past all of these signs and seeing all of this. You know, again, this is a crime. This crime changed this community. And this community is here to see what this decision was. I was just across the street briefly to get a drink in the Pizza King, and I saw a sign in there that has been up in there almost 8 years. It had a picture, a flyer of Abby and Libby, a picture of Bridge Guy there, and then also a sign that the Pizza King had made, and it said, Abby and Libby, justice will be served. So this town deeply invested in this situation.
And just overnight, a lot of the businesses around the courthouse square here, just again, since last night, today we come and there are signs that say Abby and Libby and support for the families around town as they are waiting for justice to be served in this case. So no verdict today in the full day of deliberations. What should we make of that? What does that mean? We will talk about that coming up at 5. For now, we'll send it back to the studio.
Quick question for you two. Do you know where Richard Allen is being held right now? Is he in the courthouse? Is he in jail? Is he there?
So we know he is not at the courthouse, and it's interesting because there are 2 armed security officers that are with him at all times. And you might not necessarily know that they are security officers because throughout the trial, we've seen them sitting right behind Richard Allen, and they are always wearing very nicely tailored suits, even though they are, and I'm not positive if they're with the Department of Correction or if they are sheriff's deputies, but these are two armed guards that are right there, and every defendant is presumed innocent, of course. So the idea of having armed guards, in flak jackets right next to the defendant would give the impression of guilt, and they want to make sure there is a neutral impression for the jury. So during the pre-trial hearings, they were just, decked out in their flak jackets and with their guns visible. That is not the case here.
Yeah.
Those security guards we saw multiple times up on the stairs here at the courthouse. Richard Allen not in the courthouse today. So he has been held at the Cass County Jail. We do not know for certain whether he is staying at the Cass County Jail or, since we're awaiting a verdict, if he is being moved closer and staying here in the Carroll County Jail. But we do know that he was not here at the courthouse today.
All right, Bob and Emily, thank you so much for you're just doing a great job. Such thorough coverage there from Carroll County. We'll come back to you coming up at 5 o'clock.
Okay, as they said, we are waiting for some major developments to come out of this. Our coverage of the Delphi murders trial will continue throughout 13 News at 4.
At 4:30, our legal expert, Katie Jackson-Lindsay, will be having more in-depth analysis for us about today's deliberations. And you can watch our Delphi debrief show on WTHR+. Bob and Emily will be breaking down what's happening today in Delphi at 10 o'clock tonight, as they do every night. You can stream that show on demand on WTHR+.